Hey everybody, it's Finck here, host of We Study Billionaires. The number one way to accelerate your investing knowledge is by getting in the same room as other great investors. So I wanted to put together a video here on YouTube that discusses how our listeners can get more involved in the value investing community by attending in-person events. One of the things I found as I became more serious about investing is that it's quite a lonely journey. You can sort of get stuck in your own silo, in your own way of thinking. And it can be really difficult to find others to share your thoughts, experiences, and viewpoints with. And while it can be great to connect with others through email or Zoom, it's just never the same as connecting in person. And one of my favorite things about being a host here at the Investors Podcast Network is that I get many chances to connect with just so many wonderful people at various events. So hopefully this video will help others in the audience experience that same level of joy. In this video, I'll chat a bit about some of the events that TIP organizes, as well as some events that are hosted by our peers in the value investing space. I'll also be sure to get everything mentioned in this video linked in the description for those interested in learning more. I should also mention that none of the events mentioned here are sponsored. I'm just sharing the ones that I'm most familiar with and truly believe are the most worthwhile to attend. I would say that if someone's interested in attending events in person, the first one they should consider is the Berkshire Hathaway Annual Meeting in Omaha. This is the annual pilgrimage that many value investors make, and the weekend includes several different events for investors to attend. The Berkshire meeting is during the day on a Saturday, typically during the first weekend of May. So for 2026, that is May 2nd, this next meeting will be my 7th time in attendance. Getting credentials to attend the Berkshire meeting is rather simple. You just need one Berkshire B share worth around $500. I've included a link in the description below that explains how to get your credentials as well. Now, my personal favorite part of the Berkshire weekend is all of the events that are happening in the days leading up to and after the Berkshire meeting. My favorite free events to attend during the weekend are the Monish Pabrai Talk at the University of Nebraska, Omaha on Friday morning and the Markel Brunch on Sunday morning. Both events are always well worth my time. There are other events in Omaha that are either private or I'm just not as familiar with since they conflict with my schedule. For example, our friend Guy Spear hosts his ValueX event, which has several different speakers at it. As far as paid events go, TIP will be hosting a few socials and dinners for our TIP Mastermind community, and we'll be selling tickets to a handful of attendees to our audience as well. For those not familiar, our Mastermind community is a vetted group of value investors that comprises of entrepreneurs, private investors, and asset managers. Overall, the community is just a wonderful place to meet interesting people and kindred spirits. We recognize that not everyone wants to commit to joining our community, which is why we're opening up a select number of seats for those in our audience who just want to join our live events. These tickets would give you access to our 3 private social events and dinners throughout the weekend, the opportunity to connect with several vetted members of our community, and you'll get direct access to me throughout the weekend to help you make the most of your time in Omaha. If you'd be interested in joining our socials and dinners, you can click the link in the description below, head to our website, or just shoot me a note at clay@theinvestorspodcast.com. Be sure to reach out soon as I expect these limited spots to go quickly. It's funny, when I look back over the years of going to Omaha several different times, I went my first time when I think I was 22 years old. None of my friends wanted to go with me, so I ended up going with my great uncle who traveled several states away to make it. He's been an investor much of his life, and he insisted that we sit way in the back at the very, very top, and it certainly wouldn't have been my first choice on where to sit. But looking back, it's sort of awkward, at least for me, going to Omaha and just not really knowing anyone. But now that I'm a part of an active community that gets together in person, having that feeling of belonging just makes things so much easier and just makes the overall experience 10 times better than that first time I went to Omaha, because you sort of have an in to what's happening throughout the weekend, and you don't have to awkwardly walk up and introduce yourself to random people in these large crowds. And for those who do plan to make the trip to Omaha, I would recommend booking your flights and hotels as soon as possible. Once you get about 1 or 2 months out from the event, you typically find that many of the hotels are booked and the prices for flights are very high. So be sure to get those booked as soon as you can. Another very popular value investing event outside of Omaha is ValueX Klosters. This is scheduled for February 3rd to February 5th, 2026. The Investors Podcast Network is not affiliated with ValueX, but we've been friends with Guy Spear from the Aquamarine Fund for several years. He hosts the event. Guy was a guest on our flagship podcast, We Study Billionaires, all the way back on episode 14 in 2014, over a decade ago. In that episode, he discussed the charity lunch he attended with Monish Pabrai and Warren Buffett. Guy described the ValueX event as an opportunity to get away from the office, hang out in the mountains, get some fresh air, do some snow skiing, and just learn and make friends with others who are interested in investing. My co-host, Stig Brodersen, he's attended and presented at the ValueX event in the past. He mentioned to me that it's especially a great event for asset managers, and the environment is just unbelievable being in the Swiss mountains. Based on my experience with these events that are at destination locations, such as in the mountains, it doesn't really have that conference feel that you get with a lot of different conferences that are in the city. Maybe they feel a little bit more inauthentic. The next event to consider attending is the Markel Annual Shareholder Meeting. One can think of this as a smaller version of the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, as Markel themselves is often referred to as a baby Berkshire. Markel is led by Tom Gaynor. He's been featured on the podcast a couple of different times. The meeting for 2026 is scheduled for May 20th, and it will be at the University of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia. Similar to Berkshire, Markel has just been an excellent long-term compounder for shareholders, and it's outperformed the market since Gaynor joined the company back in 1990. I know a handful of people who go to this meeting each year, and I've heard nothing but good things. Next, we have the Ben Graham Center for Value Investing Conference in Toronto. The purpose of this conference is to promote the tenets of value investing as pioneered by Benjamin Graham, expose conference participants to various value investing methods used by practitioners, and encourage and support research in the area of value investing. For 2026, this event is on April 14th, and it's at the Ritz-Carlton in Toronto. I also noticed that Fairfax Financial, which is a company based in Toronto, they're also hosting their annual meeting on the 16th. So if you're going to the Ben Graham conference, then you may consider sticking around for the Fairfax meeting as well. There's actually another Ben Graham conference. It's in Portugal. That's in October. So that's probably more convenient for those of you who are based in Europe. Ben Graham really pioneered the value investing movement, and I know several people who attend these great events that upholds the timeless principles of value investing. Lastly, I wanted to mention that the Investors Podcast Network also hosts live events in New York City for our Mastermind community. So for 2026, we're looking at September 17th through the 20th. And similar to Omaha, we'll have a handful of spots available for those in the audience who would like to join us. This will be our 4th year getting together in New York. And similar to Omaha, it's just a great opportunity to get connected with several wonderful people in the value investing space. Our most recent event brought together asset managers, business owners, private investors, and even physicians from all over the US and Canada. So people with all sorts of backgrounds, experiences, interests. Many of our members, especially like New York City, since they really enjoy bringing their spouse along to enjoy the city, maybe attend a show on Broadway, enjoy the phenomenal food scene, and bring them along to our socials and dinners as well. So if you're not able to join us in Omaha, but would like to make the trip to New York, feel free to shoot me an email and reach out, clay@theinvestorspodcast.com. So that wraps up today's video. I hope you found it useful. If you have any comments or questions about any of the events, feel free to drop a comment below or just shoot me an email. I'd be really happy to help in any way I can. Again, in-person events are really a great way to connect with like-minded people on a more meaningful and deeper level, and even perhaps up your game as an investor as well. As someone who makes the trip to Omaha each year, I know that there's a lot of people who really recognize the value of getting connected with others, especially in person. And we see this at our Mastermind community events as well, as several people go out of their way to make it to Omaha, make it to New York City each year. So I'd really encourage you to make the trip. I just promise you won't regret it. So with that, thanks a lot for tuning in, and I hope to see you soon in 2026. I wanted to put together a quick video here just to share how you can attend the Berkshire Hathaway shareholders meeting, some of the things happening throughout the weekend, and talk a bit about the in-person events that TIP will be hosting. This will actually be the 7th Berkshire meeting I've attended over the years. So starting with how to attend the event,